careers and your accomplishments. JDSA Law supports the TV broadcasts of these local community events.
Working with August Edge Real Estate, both sellers and buyers feel confident knowing they are in the hands of award-winning professionals. August Edge offers a 2% listing commission, which includes above-standard service and technology.
We offer high-tech 3D imagery, drone photos, local North Central Washington TV ads, and impressive smart flyer installed at your listing. The August Edge website also hosts your home with an interactive featured listing page.
August Edge is professional, personable, and preferable.
Swung on a fly ball.
Wenatchee Apple Sox baseball is back on the NCW Live channel. Join us Monday, July 17th as the Apple Sox host the Bend Elks. Coverage is brought to you by Apple Valley Honda, Confluence Health, JDSA Law, Mary Maids, Many Blinds and more, Prestige Senior Living at Colonial Vista, Together for Youth, Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center, and Walkabout Grill. Your television.
Happy Friday, everybody. We made it to the weekend. Well, not quite. Well, we're almost there. In fact, if you stand on your tiptoes, you can actually see the weekend. From here, 7th day of July, 2023, I'm Dan Kuntz, your host. You know what our Friday deal is around here if you're a regular viewer of this program. We give you a 5-star show where we double your television viewing pleasure back. Now, that's a good guarantee. It's also quite mild. It is 68 degrees here in the big city. We have a heat advisory in effect for tomorrow through the weekend. It starts at noon on Saturday, goes through noon on Sunday, actually Sunday evening, come to think of it. Yeah, it's going to get hot. We could very well get to triple digits for the first time this year on Saturday. It's a distinct possibility. They issue a heat advisory, not so much because it's going to get really hot in the late afternoon hours, but there's going to be very little relief in the evening hours. So for you folks who don't have air conditioning, I feel sorry for you because you're not going to be cooling down when the sun goes down. That's why they have a heat advisory. Forecast details are coming up. The haze is going to be exiting out. There's a closed low off the Vancouver Island. It's going to spin as low pressure systems do counterclockwise. It's going to do two things. It's going to clear the air out because it's going to it's going to keep the smoke from the Canadian wildfires in Canada. So we're going to clear out the skies, but it's also going to usher in even warmer air and some instability, especially up north. In the Omak, Okanagan area and in the Methow Valley, some thunderstorms are possible. All those details are coming up. In sports, if the Apple Sox had beaten Port Angeles Wednesday, they would have won the first half of the North Division of the West Coast League. They didn't. If they had won last night against Port Angeles, they would have won the North Division of the West Coast League and guaranteed a spot in the playoffs. They didn't. Nope, Bellingham wins the first half. Apple Sox lost. Bellingham wins. So they're going to have to, if they want to make the playoffs like they did last year and make a deep run into the playoffs, they're going to have to find another way to do it. And the Mariners beat their nemesis, the Astros in Houston last night, first of a four-game series before they get into the All-Star break. We'll have that in sports. And once again, we'll visit with our good friend Jeremy Andrews talking about racing. We'll be there tomorrow night at the WVSO. We begin our tour with the camera that we always begin our tour with, unless it's not working, and it seems to be working just fine. Seems a little hazier than normal this morning. Also a few more clouds floating around up there. And again, it's going to be very, very, I don't know, what do you want to call it? Very warm or hot and dry. Again, there is a chance for some thunderstorms for the next several days along the very highest peaks of the Cascades and to the north of us, up near the Canadian border. And so we're keeping a very close eye on that. We're going to show you a slide from the National Weather Service to let you know what we're looking at there. But that looks like a typical hazy, hot July morning. We hit 94 yesterday. We will be warmer than that today. We're going to flip around and go the other direction to the Omi Garden camera and look back that way. Pretty much at the same elevation as the Wenatchee Heights camera, maybe just a little bit lower. There's our friends at the Stemelt. Oh, I got to go to the Stemelt retail store. Got to pick up some fresh fruits and vegetables there. It's been a good year for asparagus, but for the first time in my adult life, I can honestly say I am sick and tired of asparagus. I've eaten a lot of it this spring and summer. Like, this is good for you. Good morning to the north end of town. And I have not gone on the new roundabout yet. Don't even know if people like it or not. I'm assuming not. From our Waterville camera pointed right down the Columbia River, towards the Wenatchee Valley. That looks really hazy there. There's the valley way off in the distance. Again, this camera is about 4 miles due south of Waterville. If we turn it around, you can see Waterville, but we have it turned around the other way. So you can see the valley and the Columbia River from our Waterville camera. And up to Cashmere we go with a different angle. We're going to use the Hay Canyon camera this morning to take a look at Cashmere. That's quite a ways up Hay Canyon. Hay Canyon, of course, named after the pioneer Canyon family who helped found Cashmere. And why does it look so much bluer from that angle than it did from the cameras that we just saw? It does, doesn't it? It doesn't look hazy at all from that angle. I don't know why. I'm not an expert. That's why I leave the forecasting to the National Weather Service, because they are the experts. Thunderstorm chances, let's take a look-see, folks. This is for today, and it could probably extend into tomorrow as well. Again, the farther north you go, the better chance you could see of an isolated thunderstorm this afternoon and this evening. So the farther north you go and the farther west you go, better chances. Very little chance of it happening here in the Wenatchee Valley, except for the far western edge of the valley. A little bit more in Chelan, but the real bullseye, if it happens at all, as you can see in Omak, the Omak Valley, the Methow Valley, and up near Republic, Ponderay, that area there. That's a better chance of having a pop-up thunderstorm today, and there's a chance of that tomorrow as well. So from the National Weather Service, it looks something like this. After 94 yesterday, 97 today, the haze will be exiting the region because the winds, now there's very little wind in the forecast, but it will be blowing from the south to the north, and so it'll be blowing the smoke back up towards Canada. So the haze will be dissipating as the day progresses, and we'll get up to about 97. Some locations could get to triple digits. There's your 69 for the overnight low. Very little relief for the people sleeping without air conditioning tonight. Going to be hot. Near 100 on Saturday. Triple digits is a possibility. We decided to be a little conservative with that. We'll say 98, but if we get to 100, it's not out of the realm of possibility. And just 70 for the overnight low Saturday night. Sunday, slightly cooler, but not much. And then we cool down a little bit on Monday, and then we go right back up again to sunny and hot on 91, 93, 94 by Thursday. It is, after all, July in north central Washington. Of course, it's going to be sunny and hot. By the way, if we get 100 on Saturday, it'll be the first time this year we got into 100. Last year, we had 9 days of at least 100 degrees, and those were in June and July and August. They were kind of spread out. We haven't gotten to 100 yet this year. Could very well tomorrow. 7 minutes after the hour, grab a cup of coffee or your tea or your orange juice. I don't care what it is that you drink. And come right back and watch the news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
It's Click It RV's lowest price guarantee sale going on now at your neighborhood Click It RV.
Be a winner like me and get to Click It RV.
With 0 down and no payments till September, now is the time to own your dream RV.
Get to Click It RV now. Are you going to be mad, bro?
Get never before deep discounts on trailers, fifth wheels, toy haulers, and motorhomes. Plus the best selection, highest trade-in values ever, and a lifetime warranty. Nobody beats the discounts at Click It RV.
I'm Richard Sherman, and we guarantee it.
On Frontage Road.
I chose a career at Confluence South because I wanted to help people, and I knew there would be opportunities for growth. I started as a medical assistant, but quickly advanced in my career. I received 5 promotions in only 7 years, 3 of those in management roles. Most organizations don't offer that type of growth. Now, as a career pathway coordinator, I let everyone know. Come join Confluence South. Come grow with us.
The Clearwater Saloon and Casino has the best Vegas-style games in East Wenatchee. Come enjoy yourself and discover the nightly action. Win big and meet new friends at the Clearwater Saloon and Casino.
9 minutes after the hour, 69 degrees. We've already begun the process of getting up to upper 90s anyway, triple digits, a possibility on Saturday, a little bit cooler on Sunday. And again, we have a heat advisory that runs from noon tomorrow till 8 o'clock on Sunday evening. It's going to be a hot summer weekend. 9.5 minutes after the hour, here we go. A Rock Island man serving a 57-month prison term for possessing a stolen vehicle has to be resentenced in Douglas County Court. East Wenatchee police found Christopher Ray Zufall driving a stolen pickup truck in the spring of 2022, and a jury convicted him, well, that summer. The 45-year-old Zufall's prior criminal record contributed to his lengthy incarceration, but the State Court of Appeals ruled on Thursday that prosecutors miscalculated his potential sentence and that Judge Brian Huber improperly assigned him a year's probation when he finally gets out of prison. No date for the revised sentencing has yet to be scheduled. Weekend Fun is going to be found at Pangborn Memorial Airport tomorrow. This is a big event. It's the Festival of Flight. It is back, the free event, celebrating the historic landing of the Miss Vidal in East Wenatchee after Clyde Pangborn and Hugh Herndon took off for the first nonstop trans-Pacific flight in Misawa, Japan to East Wenatchee. Attendees, there's no lack of things to do. Vintage airplanes, you can get your face painted. There's going to be Japanese-inspired events. There's going to be a showing of the film Devotion, which of course portions of that was filmed at Pangborn. Mama Tina's Pizza, shaved ice cream and more, Dee's Beans, a high-end food truck, and Our Shack Barbecue will be food vending for the day. Don't forget your sunscreen and your water. The event starts tomorrow at 9 a.m. and runs until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. A lack of affordable housing looms large in the race to replace outgoing Mayor Frank Kuntz for the city of Wenatchee. Ballots for the August primary will be showing up if you're a registered voter, probably late next week. Our very own Jefferson Robbins spoke with all three candidates for mayor, two of whom will head on to the general election. Jefferson asked each one about their strategy to encourage affordable housing in the city of Wenatchee.
The logical steps to do is to work in partnership with East Wenatchee and with Chelan Douglas County. Malaga has a vast level area, and with a future connectivity of a bridge connecting Malaga to Rock Island, an expansion of our urban growth development area would give us a whole new area to rezone and to repopulate, and as part of that we can build in, and it's been carried out in many different cities and countries around the world, where a developer, hopefully a local developer, comes in and basically is putting his development plan forward. But as part of the approval and as part of the actual system, he needs to document that 20% of his development is not low income, but affordable housing. This is a very popular scheme in Ireland. Ireland is smaller than the state of Washington. And we ran into this problem 15 years ago. From seeing how that was resolved and how it's worked, it actually brings this togetherness, and that's the campaign promise and platform in which I'm working on.
Well, it's certainly going to have to be some assistance, because the house prices, it's supply and demand. And it's as simple as that. And so as the prices go up and people are being priced out of their homes, their taxes are going up, I'm very concerned about the people that are on fixed incomes and long-term Wenatchee residents that are being forced out of their home and forced out of the area, because once they do sell here, they can't afford to rebuy here. So there's several issues involved here. One of them being if you implement all of a sudden a non-supply and demand, I'll call it an artificial minimum wage, that's double what it used to be, that all of a sudden that's raising the cost of everything. So your cost of homes are going to go up, and so you try to give people extra income, but it turns around and gets lost on the other end, so they don't get that much more buying power out of it. So one of the ways to decrease the cost of housing, make it more affordable, is some of the programs that the city's involved with now, where you can do a property tax waiver for a period of time.
A few years ago, we might gave tax incentives for people to help build lower income, or tax incentives for apartments. Now, when people come to us, and we only going to give it to people that will help us with affordable housing. I don't believe we should continue tax incentives for people that are going to build anyway. And so that's a transition that we've had, and we got a lot of complex issues in Wenatchee, and I believe I'm the best person to give that transition to continue it on. But there's definitely changes. There's some changes I want to make. It's our responsibility to be able to allow our children to be able to afford a home here. I mean, if we can't allow it for our families to come back and live here, what are we doing? These are the people that we raise. These are the people that we know love Wenatchee in our community. And I think the tax incentive, there's some things out there now, but I believe we need to push that tax incentive for it.
Chelan County is inviting the local citizens to a community conversation about how to better protect yourself from wildfire smoke, and boy, we're used to that. It's called the No Community Left Behind Firewise and Smoke Readiness event. It's going to help raise public awareness, they hope so anyway, on the health impacts of wildfire smoke and the actions people can take to better prepare for the heavy smoke wildfire season brings with it, and boy, we're used to that. If you choose to go, you can visit booths, partake in family-friendly activities, and presenters will speak on topics like preparing your home for dirty air, evacuation procedures, and climate-resilient hubs. There's also going to be an option for folks in Chelan to attend a live streaming event at the Chelan Fire Hall. That's where people can have the opportunity to listen to the speakers there. The event's going to be held next Thursday, July 13th, at the Pybus Puppet Market at the local Events Center. It'll run from 4 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Price of lunch at the Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center went down. It was $7, now it's $5. The nonprofit is aiming to get more people to have lunch at the Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center. They lowered the original price of $7 to $5 after hearing feedback from the attendees. The Senior Center has an annual membership fee, but lunch at the Senior Center is open to anybody. No age requirement. All you have to do is reserve at least 24 hours in advance so they know how much food to make. Lunch at the Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center is served Tuesdays through Friday. You can log on to their website and get your table. Again, you have to reserve it 24 hours in advance, and you make your payment at the door, and you can also buy a discount card. So if you buy 10 lunches, you get one free lunch. And by the way, Dave Tosh, the Executive Director of the Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center, will be on this program next week to talk about that. Finally, the Washington State Department of Fish and Wildlife said, okay, here we go. It's restriction time now on certain outdoor activities. Of course, they want to reduce the risk of wildfire. Don't want that. So beginning today, restrictions prohibit visitors from making fires or campfires, discharging firearms for target shooting or other recreational purposes besides lawful hunting. No smoking except inside a closed vehicle. Welding and operating chainsaws, can't do that. Operating a motor vehicle away from developed roads, that's going to be a no-no. There are some exceptions. You can target shoot. That is permitted from sunrise to 10 a.m. through August 15th at both the Medhow and the Asotin Creek shooting ranges. Personal camp stoves and lanterns fueled by propane, liquid petroleum are allowed, and all restrictions will remain in effect until further notice, although the target shooting restriction will run until September 15th. It's that time of the year. Why anybody would want to have a campfire when the afternoon high is 100 is beyond me. And that's the news at 18 minutes after the hour. One more newscast before we get to do a weekend with Grant and the whole crew. And we'll have it for you tonight at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock on TV. 5, 6, and 10 on television. And if that doesn't work for you, you can watch it via the World Wide Web by going to our homepage, our Facebook page, or our YouTube page. And if there's something out there that you think we should know about, let us know about it so we know about it. You can email us, you can call us, you can go to our homepage or drop us a note on the Facebook Messenger app. When we come back, Mariners win. Apple Sox played. Sports is 2 minutes away. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life Channel.
JDSA Law is a proud sponsor of these local event broadcasts. JDSA Law has been serving North Central and Eastern Washington since 1946. For over 70 years, their team of dedicated professionals has delivered quality, innovative legal services. JDSA Law partners with you to provide the finest legal advice and support as you navigate your personal and business challenges, your risks, and your accomplishments. JDSA Law supports the TV broadcasts of these local community events.
Hi everybody, Dan Kuntz alongside Jesse Coble from Alpine Air. There's ice on my heat pump and under my heat pump.
Well, Ice under your heat pump is normal. When we go into a defrost cycle, it melts the frost off, creates water, which freezes to the ground. Ice around your heat pump is a thing that you should probably give us a call about.
Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air for heat and air. Call Alpine Air. Thanks, Jesse.
Thanks.
A break from reality. Central Washington Water has a showroom full of possibilities. They have the perfect hot tub for any space and any budget, including saltwater hot tubs for the absolute best ownership experience. Find free-flow plug-and-play spas that make it simple and affordable to get you soaking. Tropatone furniture to complete your patio. Make summer a splash with a high-quality, easy-to-set-up above-ground pool with pumps and filters from Central Washington Water, your water experts.
You don't have to be a member to enjoy the view and dine in style at Highlander Bar and Grill, located in East Wenatchee. Highlander Golf Course has added 2 state-of-the-art full-swing simulators. Food and drink service is available from our full-service bar and grill, offering breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. Indoor and outdoor seating available. Call Shalane, our on-site coordinator, to schedule your special event.
So, how's Evan?
Well, he's all grown up now, but I worry about him. So many dangers in the world. COVID, the environment, the opioid epidemic.
Yeah, I hear opioid misuse is on the rise.
I don't even know how to start a conversation with him.
This might help. GetTheFactsRx.com. There's a whole section on how to talk about opioids with your family.
Offer support, not judgment. Cool.
Talk to your family about the dangers of opioids. Visit GetTheFactsRx.com.
21 minutes after the hour, Eugenio Suarez had a couple of home runs. J.P. Crawford hit a dinger later on, and the Mariners knock off the Houston Astros Thursday night. The final, as you see there, 5-1.
Kirby went 7 shutout. This is up the middle, another ground ball. Caballero with some range and a long throw. France is able to clean it up at first base for round number 2.
What a tremendous play by Jose Caballero.
2-out base runner for Jose Abreu. Boy, really handcuffs him up and out of the zone. Kirby strikes out Abreu and strands the walk. We played an inning scoreless in Houston. And that one is up all 4. So the former Astro draws a walk to lead off the second inning.
Suarez batting .223, .313 on base percentage, 9 homers.
High lift out to left field. This is back on its way. Gone. Home run. Eugenio Suarez checking in right away with a long one to left. And it's 2-0 Mariners.
365 feet. It's nearly 98 miles per hour off the bat.
Seattle, their number 9 hitter and second baseman. 1-2, swing and a miss. Caballero goes down on a slider. That's the 3rd strikeout for Blanco, and there's 1 out.
Been a nice July for JP. 9 for 21 now. 4 doubles, a home run in the month. Here's the pitch.
J.P. Crawford smokes this on a line. Right field. Gone. Home run. J.P. Crawford tags it out of here. It's the Mariners' 2nd home run, and they extend the lead to 3-0.
J.P. Crawford has been on a tear since June the 10th, hitting .292 coming into the ball game. Now with 5 home runs, 14 runs scored, 6 doubles, and tearing the cover off the ball.
Fran struck out his first time up. In the air to center field, sending McCormick back, still back near the wall. Chaz puts it away in front of the wall for the final out of the inning. Grant slams his helmet down, gave that a good ride. Up on the mound, and the air out to center. McCormick having to cover some ground. He can't get there. Gino charging for second, and he gets in there with a slide safe with a double.
McCormick has to leave his feet trying to make this catch. He's not going to be able to get up in enough time to get him at second base, but Gino was hustling all the way around first base.
2 balls and a strike to Cal Raleigh. Tiptoeing, fair ball. Suarez is coming around third base. He's headed home, and Cal Raleigh brings home the Mariners' 4th run of the ball game. He just sneaks it in fair, and it's 4-0 at the top of the 7th. Blasted out to center, driven back by the wall, way up there by the pump. It is out of here. Gino multi-homer game. Blast off to center.
Have a game for yourself, Gino.
5-1 on it. and makes the catch. The Mariners homer 3 times. Gino with the pair of them. Now the Mariners pitching staff holds the Astros.
Yeah, George Kirby, he was good. Starter, by the way, is going to the All-Star game. That's because he's good. He allowed 6 hits and just 1 run in 6 1/3 innings to help the Mariners win for the 5th time in 6 games. The Astros, by the way, did not hit a home run Thursday. They had a streak of 17 consecutive games with at least 1 home run. That came to an end. And by the way, the Mariners recalled right-hander Isaiah Campbell from AA Arkansas on Thursday. Left-hander Tommy Malone, who got racked up the other day, has been designated for assignment. Louis Castillo and Hunter Brown will do battle tonight when the series continues, 5:10 on Root Sports Northwest. So the Wenatchee Apple Sox are going to have to wait, I'm afraid, until the second. The AL West standings. Hello, Dan, pay attention. There you go. The Astros, even though they lost, they kept pace with the Rangers. Rangers have a 2-game lead over the Astros as we get closer and closer to the All-Star break. Angels hanging in there just above 500, 6.5 games back. Mariners back to 500 after last night's victory. They're 7 games back, and the A's are the A's. Again, 3 games today, tomorrow, and on Sunday, and then they have the All-Star break. Okay, closer to home. The Wenatchee Apple Sox are going to have to wait until the second half of the season to make the WCL playoffs after they dropped a 3-2 decision to the Port Angeles Lefties. And at the same time, Bellingham defeated Kamloops 7-5. So the Sox will need to win the second half Northern Division title or earn a wild card berth to make the postseason. Port Angeles earned its first ever series victory over Wenatchee by taking the final 2 games of the series. This was also the first time in the 6-season history of the 2 teams facing each other that the Lefties won consecutive games in the same summer against the Apple Sox. The Apple Sox used to own the Lefties. Guess they don't anymore. Apple Sox, by the way, back home tonight. They'll take on the North Paws. First pitch at 6:35 in the North Division standings, up to the minute as of this morning. Again, Bellingham wins the first half regular season title. They will go to the playoffs, and everything starts all over again starting tonight. Wenatchee at 19-8, and then on down the line, Victoria, 1.5 games back at 20-10. Kelowna at 16-14 finds themselves 5 games back. The Nanaimo is 5.5 games back, and on down the line with Kamloops bringing up the rear, 14.5 games out of first place. And those are just some of the games that people are playing at 27 minutes after the hour. For the obscure holiday, I could have chosen National Dive Bar Day. Not going to do that. It's National Father and Daughter Go Out and Take a Walk Day. If you do it in the morning, not in the afternoon. It's National Strawberry Sundae Day. But today we celebrate the macaroni. Today is National Macaroni Day. And believe it or not, the word macaroni is Greek in origin. You would think macaroni, pasta, Italy. No, it's actually the word macaroni is Greek in origin. And of course, when we think of macaroni, at least I think of macaroni and cheese. I don't think I've ever had macaroni and anything else but macaroni and cheese. I can't remember. The first macaroni and cheese recipe came out in 1861. It was called Mrs. Beeton's Book of Household Management. It was fairly close to the macaroni and cheese that we have today. It was macaroni-shaped pasta and breadcrumbs and some sort of cheese thing. But the real deal, the real advancement of macaroni and cheese, 76 years after that cookbook came back in 1937, during the height of the Great Depression, Kraft comes out with their boxed macaroni and cheese. Height of the Great Depression, affordable. And then when the war started and you had food stamps and you could only buy so much dairy product every week or every month, it was a great way to stretch that out. If you think we like macaroni and cheese, check this statistic out. Canada really loves macaroni and cheese. It's like the national food of Canada. 7 million boxes a week are sold of macaroni and cheese. Not necessarily Kraft brand, everybody makes it now, but 7 million boxes of macaroni and cheese are sold every week in the world. 7 million are sold every week in the world. Canada buys 1.7 million of them. Just like the national food of Canada. There's a very interesting reason why. Canada had the same kind of thing we had going on during World War II, but a lot of Canadian households did not have refrigeration, and the fact that pre-packaged macaroni and cheese had a long shelf life made it quite popular in Canada. and it is very popular in Canada. Kraft macaroni and cheese. Curious what ails you. Happy Macaroni and Cheese Day today, 29 minutes after the hour. Today in history, on this date in 1863, a couple of years into the Civil War, Abraham Lincoln realized an all-volunteer Union Army ain't going to work. We need a draft, and so we had the very first military draft, which took place on this date in 1863. All able-bodied men of a certain age were supposed to be eligible for the draft, but if you had $300 lying around, you could buy your way out of it for $300, which was a lot of money in 1863, or you could find a substitute, which wasn't a bad idea. So $300 or a substitute. A lot of men who didn't want to go into the Army for obvious reasons, they pooled their money. There would be like 8 or 9 of them. They would all pool their money together for $300. Then if any one of the 9 were drafted, they would say, here's our $300, and that person would not have to go to war. And the other popular way to get out of it was to pay a Union soldier whose period of enlistment was about ready to expire, and you would pay them to re-enlist in the Union Army. And the Army liked this because that way they didn't have to worry about training a newbie. If you paid a soldier to re-up with the Army said thank you because they didn't have to put that soldier through training anymore. They already had a trained veteran in place. Of the 168,649 men drafted by the Union Army, 117,000 of them were substitutes. So only about 150,000 of them, or only about 50,000 that were actually drafted, actually went. The rest were substitutes. Here comes the draft. July 7th, 1865. There's a sobering photo, isn't it? They were hanged. The 4 conspirators in the assassination of Abraham Lincoln were hanged. Mary Surratt, Lewis Powell, David Harold, and George Axelrod are all hung. The debate after the Lincoln assassination, they were all caught and sent to prison. Do we send them to trial or do we have a military tribunal? Folks in Lincoln's cabinet said we should have just a civilian trial with a jury and a judge, but they were overruled and they had a military tribunal, so they'd really never had a chance. After they were all convicted, the tribunal voted 5-4 to commute Mary Surratt's sentence from hanging to lifetime in prison, but President Andrew Johnson said, nope, hang them all. Mary Surratt, by the way, who of course owned the boarding house where they holed up after the assassination, was the first woman executed by the federal government. They met their maker on this date in 1865. 83 years ago today, they started building the Boulder Dam. Now it's the Hoover Dam. They started building it. Henry J. Kaiser, the great industrialist, began the process of building one of the most remarkable engineering feats in history. How did Hoover Dam get the name? Well, it was 1930. Herbert Hoover was the president of the United States. The Secretary of the Interior went out to Hoover Dam for the opening ceremonies on this date in 1930, and without anybody knowing, saying, I will declare this the Hoover Dam. So basically, he was kissing his boss's butt, is what he did. Nobody knew it was coming, not even a Hoover. You're naming the dam after me? He was popular in 1930. Not really. They started the Big Dig on this date, how long ago that was? 93 years ago today. And finally, we talked about this a couple of days ago. 2 days after Elvis Presley recorded his first single, That's All Right Mama, Sam Phillips, the owner of Sun Records, took an acetate, 78 RPM acetate, to Dewey Phillips, they were not related, at WHBQ Radio in Memphis, Tennessee. He had a very popular show on Saturday nights. It was called the Red Hot and New Show. And Sam said, here you go. Play it, song. Play the song if you don't mind. Dewey Phillips said, okay. Told Elvis. Sam Phillips said, Dewey's going to play your record tonight on the radio. Elvis was so nervous that he and his buddies went to the movies instead. They didn't want to. This was just 2 days after we recorded That's All Right, Mama. Dewey put it on his show. Phone lit up. Played it again. Phones lit up. Played it again. Phones lit up. 2-hour show. He played the song like 12 times, and people kept calling, who is this guy? This is unbelievable. Finally, Dewey Phillips, the DJ, was able to get a hold of Elvis after Elvis got out of the movies. Elvis and his parents lived in a small apartment above a drugstore, in downtown Memphis. They couldn't afford a phone. They called the drugstore. Drugstore went upstairs, got Elvis. Elvis went back down and did an interview with Dewey Phillips. It took a long time before Dewey Phillips finally got Elvis Presley to admit that he had just graduated from L.C. Humes High School in Memphis, and that meant a lot to everybody because L.C. Humes High School, this being Memphis in 1954, was all white. And that's when people figured out that Elvis is white. Fooled me. Elvis on his way on this date of 1954. And we do birthdays. That could very well be the greatest pitcher ever. I think he has a legitimate claim to fame. Nobody really knows the statistics. Of course, he played the vast majority of his career, bouncing around from team to team in different leagues. Leroy Satchel Paige, we think was born on this date in 1906. Nobody really knows. He was always vague about his age. One of his most famous sayings is, "How old are you if you don't know how old you are?" Leroy Satchel Paige played his first game in professional baseball in 1926, his last game in 1966, inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame, and impeccable control. Probably my favorite saying from Satchel Paige, and there's a bunch of them. They asked, how come your control was so incredible? And he said, home plate doesn't move. Satchel Paige, we think, was born in this date in 1906. And Richard Starkey, Ringo Starr. MBE, Sir Ringo Starr, the drummer of a group from Liverpool, England, whose name escapes me. Peace and love to Ringo. He is 83 years old today. Going to take a break. Mike McNally's got an opinion, but stay tuned anyway, because after that, we're talking to Jeremy Andrews. We're racing tomorrow night at the WVSO. We'd always love to visit with Jeremy, and we will do so when we come back. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Are you dealing with a pest or weed issue and you just don't know what to do?
We use the best pest control methods approved for areas with kids and pets.
Whether it's rats, mice, ants, or spiders,
or something else altogether. We provide the coaching and solutions you're looking for.
And you can know that your dollars are supporting a local, family-owned and operated business.
Allow us to help you get back to living healthy and pest-free. Harvest Valley Pest Control.
Hey, welcome back to Save Mart. What can we help you find today?
We're looking for a mattress.
Oh, right this way. We got a large selection. We have this pillow top here.
Oh, comfortable.
We have more to choose from down here.
Oh.
I think I have the perfect one over here for you.
I guess we'll take this one.
You'll find it at Save Mart. Full service at a low, low price.
The agents of Kennedy Real Estate Group are committed to providing the ideal client experience. We believe in the power of relationships. Why? Because we don't just work here, we live here. From the nonprofits we serve, the parks where we play, and the local businesses we support, our team understands the value of living in the Wenatchee Valley. Let's begin your real estate story.
When your heating or cooling system is giving you trouble, call the diagnostic doctor from Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning.
Here's the culprit right here.
All joking aside, when you call Dick's, you're calling 35 years of experience at customer service right here in the Wenatchee Valley. Dick's strongly believes in repairing before replacing, and they service all major brands of HVAC units.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog McNulty, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, Bruce Springsteen is a Jersey boy, and that's pretty cool. But his song, Glory Days, always kind of bothered me. I always thought it was a depressing. Particularly the line, well, time slips away and leaves you with nothing, mister, but boring stories to tell of. Now, this is my goal. You know, I never want my glory days to be behind me. I always want them to be something ahead. No matter how old we get, I think we ought to need to keep stretching ourselves, keep trying to top the good stuff of our past. Glory days? Maybe sometime tomorrow. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnati, and that's my opinion.
The Wenatchee Valley. Here, most of us really enjoy the great outdoors, and most of us try to make the most of our natural resources. Here at Apple Valley Honda, we know that for generations, we have harnessed nature to sustainably power the West, and we are proud to be part of that tradition as an environmentally green dealership award winner. Being a green dealership means Apple Valley Honda has reduced our overall environmental impact. We are so proud to live in this wonderful community.
My name is Anna Marie. I've lived at Prestige here for 6.5 years, and I love it. They just made you feel so welcome. I love my room. I get 3 meals a day, do as I darn well want to. I've loved it ever since I moved in.
Mom's a wonderful, wonderful lady. She deserved the very best, and I got it for her here at Prestige.
Hey, hon, would you run this around to the wash rack?
Oh, okay.
Hey, hon, what happened?
They shrunk the truck.
The all-new mid-size Canyon is now available at Sangster Motors.
Are you caught in a conflict with a family member, in the workplace, or with a neighbor or business? Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center provides mediation services, a cost-effective and efficient way to provide a written resolution to disputes and issues. Plus, we offer mediation training and community education on topics like conflict resolution and communication skills. Contact us at 509-888-0957 or www.wvdrc.org to learn more.
Welcome back to the program. Drive fast, turn left. I'm all for it. I will be there Saturday night. You should be there Saturday night. Wenatchee Valley Super Oval, another full slate of racing. Our cameras will be there. We'll have it on television, or as we like to say in the business, TV. And here to talk about Saturday night, big friend of our program, big friend of the station, a man whose impact on local racing is so immeasurable, nobody's even bothered to try and measure it. I'm, of course, talking about our good friend. Give it up for, oh, crap. Jeremy?
Yeah.
Jeremy Andrews, everybody. It's nice meeting you, by the way.
Nice to meet you, too. First time.
Is it me? What? Go ahead.
I'm just waiting, by the way. When do I get a parking spot? I pulled in today. I can't get a parking spot.
Hey, it's a popular place.
Like reserved with my name on it, right?
Yeah, you should, as a matter of fact.
Do you have one of those?
No.
No? Okay.
No, I don't.
Well, I'll probably get one before you.
I walk to work. That's why I'm in such great shape.
Okay. There you go.
Is it me or crowds like up this year?
We're coming off a record June, quite possibly one of the biggest Junes ever in the history of the track, one of the biggest months ever in the history of the track. We had June 3rd, the Wenatchee 200, which is a big event. We talked about it all year long. It was going to be a huge event, and in it being record crowd. One of our biggest crowds we had on record in the last 24 years. Then we popped in, we had our Bunta Pass night, which is always a big crowd. You know, it wasn't sold out, it was pretty packed. And then we had big rigs after that in the month of June. The big rig crowd was, it was probably 95% sold out. So, we were coming off just huge crowds, so it's been really good all year long. We had one weekend where weather kind of hurt us a little bit, and weather will, I mean, if it's down 10, 15 degrees, it'll cost you 400, 500 people or so.
And it ain't going to be the problem on Saturday, I can guarantee you that.
No. So it's been really good this year. The buzz is out there pretty strong. Our racing's been great in all of our divisions. Car counts are up for most of our divisions this year, so we're excited about it.
And the racing has been good. It's been an unbelievably clean year. Knock on wood.
Knock on wood. It's been clean like that. We've had a couple of hiccups here and there with a couple of our classes, but it's been good racing all year long. People, we've had some close finishes. I think we've had 3 different times this year that we've had finishes called at the line that were within like a few feet of each other like that. So that always makes for great racing for the fans and the drivers.
How do the guys in the booth know it's a quarter mile oval, so it only takes 10, 12 laps, regardless of how many laps they're going to run. And I could easily lose track of who's it. Now, you got the scoreboard, the new one, by the way. I love the scoreboard. That's nice.
It's not new. It's just
refurbished.
Refurbished in some sense.
But
yeah.
how do the folks know is it the transponders in the cars? How is that?
Yeah, so back in the day they used to have line scoring. So there'd be like 2 people in the tower and they have these charts and they're marking down each time they're coming across the line. Each like that. They'll mark down like the time of the clocks like that. And when they had big races and there's like 24 cars, they used to have these. Every driver had their own like hand score who would like write down the time of when they crossed off the lap. So that way if there was a score discrepancy, they go back and say, oh well, you crossed the line at 4 minutes and 3 seconds on lap 4. You say you crossed it here. Well, who was telling the truth there? But that was, now we have transponders, so it's this little little electronic device. There's a scoring loop that goes across right at the start-finish line there, so it reads it each time it goes by, and there's a computer system there, which also helps. So like when we do like the live ticker for like the broadcast, it needs to be live, or if people are from home or watching, or just like the crew wants to keep track. Okay, like hey, you're running a 13-second lap right now, and Joe Smith is running a 13.2, so you're gaining on him each and every lap. So it tells you to kind of help figure out the drivers too. So.
And where are the transponders located in the cars? I suppose as close to the front as possible.
No,
they all have to be in the same location, right?
Yeah. So like behind the right rear wheel.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they all have to be there because it wouldn't be fair if somebody had theirs on the hood, somebody else was on the front.
There has been times that people have moved them in different locations like that, so it's been called
That's
about.
called cheating.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to. Of course. What's the old line? If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, right?
So right rear behind your rear axle, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I saw the Wenatchee 200 and you put out the call on social media and everywhere, you said, get your tickets in advance, carpool. And I thought, this is a bit hyperbole from Jeremy. And then you sent the picture on Sunday morning of the packed stands. I thought, where the hell did you put all those people? It must have been, I mean, for your staff and everything, that must have been just one crazy night.
Yeah, so we, with those races, they have the bigger semi-truck haulers for that. So sometimes when you have those big races, they don't have as many haulers, so you can kind of use them in the area where we park the haulers for extra parking like that. But those guys all use these big semi-truck haulers. Plus, we had a lot of cars for other divisions, so the hauler area was pretty much packed. We had probably 60 or 70 campers, RV trailers up there filling up the area, and then we pretty much used every square inch of property we could to put cars on. We used areas which is usually our overflow camping area. We used that for parking, and then they parked alongside it. And then they actually ended up parking all the way out to Fancherfield Road, all the way along there like that into the neighborhoods. And our neighbors were good to us with that, so I reached out to a few of them afterwards. But yeah, it was pretty cool to see. I mean, we haven't seen that for a long time. I mean, we'll get out to outside the gun club gates and the main parking lot there, but to go that far out was pretty cool to see. And nobody complained about it. They knew how big of an event it was. They knew how special this was to have this event here. And the cool thing is we're already in the planning stages of next year to bring the event back and make it even bigger next year. I don't know how we can make it bigger, but we're going to make it bigger.
You're going to have to build more stands, is what you're going to have to do.
Build more stands, but we're going to make the event we're going to make it so, I mean, hopefully tickets start selling out a week or two in advance. Just so, it was probably the most well-attended race so far in the Northwest this year. We had people from all over, not just the drivers, but the fans from all over the Northwest and West Coast comes like that. And, the 2 or 3 days afterwards, I had people texting me who were drivers who said, hey, I'm coming to race next year. I should have been there this year. And then I had fans said, hey, I'm going to come next year. Like, I'm going to get on my bucket list. Like, this is the track I want to come to. And those are fans from California and people from all over. So it's cool to see.
Let's run through the card, if you will, on Saturday night. Again, our cameras will be there, but you want to be there. to get to feel the racing, is you got to be there. The Zero Handicap Youth Roadrunners, are they running on Saturday?
Yeah, so it is Kids Night. It is our Dixie Air Conditioning Kids Night. So we really pump up the kids. We just released, we're giving out the first 200 kids that come get a poster that actually features all of our youth division drivers on it, which is really cool. So yeah, the Zero Handicap Youth Roadrunners, they're in action, which that's our newest division this year, which is the Roadrunners, but these kids are 12 to 16 years old, and they've had some great racing this year, a lot of side-by-side racing, very close pack and group of cars.
Have a lot of them graduated from Bandoleros up to that level?
Actually, not one is going from Bandoleros. Really, once it's kind of, you either go the Bandolero option or you go the Roadrunner option. I think we might see one or two of the Bandolero kids go over there. We had Tyler Steinberg. He was in Bandoleros before. He graduated over there. But the other kids are either they're right into racing or they're coming up from other divisions like that. You see a lot of Bandolero kids will jump into Legend cars next, and that's just the transition there. And then you see like a lot of the Roadrunner kids might jump into like a Thunder car. That's kind of what the transition usually happens. But the nice thing about the Roadrunner is once you're in that Roadrunner, that car is just easily converted to the Plum Perfect adult Roadrunner. So you can just run that car. And actually we have some where the parents are running the car and the adults and the kids running the car.
Right, we've seen that, yeah.
So that happens there. So it's a lot of fun for those kids.
WMRA midgets, right? They're going to be there?
Yeah, we got midgets and dwarfs both on Saturday. The Amica dwarfs and the WMRA midgets. So I actually got a phone call about it, but I'm like, they've been the name of those racing classes for over. I mean, the WMRA midgets have been around. I think they're one of the longest running classes in the Northwest. Things like 70 years like that. So they've been kind of hurting on car count the last couple of years like that. They're really fast. I mean, those little tiny cars I think they weigh about 1,200 pounds. So that they fly around the track. So they're a lot of fun to watch.
And then, of course, the Bandoleros, as we mentioned already, which is always my favorite because I love the Bandoleros.
The Angel Bell Bonds Bandoleros, they're a lot of fun. Those kids, 7 to 14 years old, and I think there's a couple out-of-towners coming in this weekend, so it should make for a lot of fun.
The AMCA Bandit Dwarf cars, you mentioned that. The Plum Perfect Road Runners, that's the next level up there.
Yeah, that'd be the next level for the youth road runners to go into. And those, we've been averaging 20 cars in that class, and that's been a very tight fill of the group. And the breakout rule has really made some interesting races this year. So the breakout rule is they can't go past that 16.750, and so guys are having to add weight to their cars or just slow their cars down a little bit to figure it out, because I think last race we had somebody run a 16.751 and we had somebody run a 16.750, which is still not below it. So that's all they're putting right on the line there.
And that's a smart move. I mean, that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah. What we're talking about is that your car is only supposed to be able to go so fast. And that's the way it should be.
And we do it so people don't go overspend in that class. We don't want people spending $10,000 on road runners like that. So it just kind of keeps everybody on a level playing field.
Finally, the headliner, the Dixie Air Conditioning Thunder Cars, will wrap up the night.
Yeah, so we have the Thunder Cars for the Can-Am Challenge. So we have quite a bit of out-of-town drivers coming in from Canada and some of the other tracks. And so we've been averaging like 19 cars this year for the Thunder Cars. So I think we're going to be quite close to mid-20s to high 20s in this year. I think it's 2,000 win for those guys, so it should be a good race.
What do you hear from your friends in Monroe and over at State Line and up in Skagit? How are they doing?
I think everybody's doing really good. We actually we went over to Skagit for Dirt Cup weekend, and they had a really good race over there. They're doing some great things. They have a new ownership group that took over last year. State Line just came off a sold-out crowd last night for their a couple nights ago. I guess it was their July. They do their 4th of July a couple days different than ours. So, and then they have. They've had some great car counts along the way there. They have some of their bigger events coming up. Tri-Cities is kind of they're doing an extra race actually this weekend. Monroe had a huge crowd for their 4th of July celebration, and they've had some big races there. They have a big race coming up in the Summer Showdowns like that. So everybody so far is going really good like that. I think we're seeing a little bit of economy stuff hurt maybe a little bit on some of the car counts and some of the races like that, but we've been lucky so far that we haven't seen it affect us too much. So we're hoping that we can keep it going that way.
And it's good to have Tri-Cities back, isn't it?
It's good. I think it's good. It's good for racing in the Northwest to have. We don't want to lose tracks. There's actually a brand new track that's just opening down in the Boise area, like right north of Boise. So, and it's a paved asphalt track like that. So, anytime we have a new track in the Northwest, it's a little ways away, but it's still in the Northwest. It's always good. So. I think that it helps to have those tracks. I mean, think back in the day, we're about 10 tracks less than we had 20 years ago. So,
but it should be pointed out that when Tri-Cities shut down for a brief period of time, it was a few years anyway, they at least kind of maintained the footprint. So they figured, hey, if we're going to reopen, we're not starting from scratch. It wasn't like a bunch of weeds.
Pretty much started, the only thing they had that really was there was the track surface. Everything else they had to redo. I mean, they had to put. They're still adding little things here at a time down there about that. So, it's very rarely do you have somebody come in like when The Evans family did it 24 years up here. They came and just said, okay, we're leaving the track, we're going to clear out, do everything else, refresh with that. So it takes a while to do that. And if you do it just one time, like all at one time, it's a lot of money to do. So, yeah.
So once again, to recap, this is in order, right? The zero handicap Ruth Road Runners, the Midgets, the Angel Bail Bonds Bandoleros. I love how a bail bonds company sponsors the race that kids run in. The AMCA Dwarf Cards, the Plum Perfect Road Runners, and the Dixie and Air Conditioning Thunder Cars. Gates open 4:30, racing at 6.
Gates open at 4:30, racing at 6. It's kids' night, so all kids 12 and under get in free. Plus, we're giving away bikes. Last year we gave away.
How do you swing that?
Last year we gave away over 100 bikes. So we have a bunch of our sponsors who, Dixie and Air Conditioning is one of our title sponsors. They jump in and help us on it. We buy, Walmart Wenatchee gives us good discounts. We buy a bunch of bikes from there. And then a bunch of our race teams, they jump in and they buy bikes as well. And we have a few other donors. So last year we gave out over 100 bikes. The year before gave out, I think, like 85 like that. So I'm getting to pick up, I think, our third load that I'm going to go pick up today that will fill up our bikes. And so we're hoping to give away close to 100 again.
Wouldn't it be cool if you let the kids out on the track with the bikes?
They used to do that, but the problem is you can't get them off. Yeah, you can't get them off the track. Once they get on the track, they're not off the track, and then I don't want to be the guy running around, Looperville trying to chase down a kid on a bike.
Yeah. It's hard enough to babysit the crew that work there at the Wenatchee Valley Super Bowl. That's the last thing you need on your deal. Greg Brentz and Grant Olson with the call because Eric is on vacation. We're looking forward to it. I will see you Saturday night.
Sounds good.
All right. We'll be right. Jeremy Anderson? I forgot the last name.
Kuntz. Jeremy
Kuntz. We'll be right back.
Boating in the Wenatchee Valley starts at Bob File Boats and Motors. Now you can fish like a pro without breaking the bank thanks to the Pro Mag aluminum fishing boat by Smokercraft. It features a great layout with a spacious bow casting platform, huge live wells, and in-floor storage to safely stow your gear. See the Smokercraft line of boats at Bob File Boats and Motors on Sunset Highway in East Wenatchee or online at bobfile.com.
Bob File Boats and Motors, we're dealing. Bob File's gonna make you smile.
At Washington Trust Bank, can't is a 4-letter word.
I think we should hire more people.
Doug, late for a meeting.
Hey, we need to build a home office. We're adding another bathroom.
We need a warehouse.
I can't imagine how we do that.
We believe you can do whatever you set your mind to, and we'll help you get there. Washington Trust Bank, privately owned, locally invested.
Are you hungry enough to eat the end out of a rhinoceros? I know how you feel. Come on out to Blueberry Hills. You'll have a great time. We've got excellent food, a feet on the furniture kind of experience, and we won't hustle you out of your table. If you want a real farm experience, make the trek to Manson to Blueberry Hills, where you sit, you pick, you eat, and you visit. So come on out and see what all the fuss is about. Blueberry Hills in Manson. It's where the world is coming to.
At D.A. Davidson in Wenatchee, they believe your investment success begins with a personalized plan. A plan that is the roadmap you need to navigate your way to living your best years in retirement. D.A. Davidson can help you create a plan so you can take the time to enjoy the finer things in life. Let the financial advisors at D.A. Davidson help chart your retirement future today.
All right, getting ready to get you going here on a weekend with just a couple minutes left in this program. It is now 70 degrees here in the big city. Relative humidity is about as muggy, so to speak, as it can get. It's at 53%. By late afternoon, it'll be about 18 to 17% relative humidity. So we're going to be dry. Have a quick moment, so we thought we'd take one more quick tour around the valley with our cameras, because why not? We can do it, right? So that is the Jump Off Ridge camera, I believe. Now, I don't know which ones Uriah chose, and we mixed them up. So he says, let's go see Jump Off Ridge, and we shall see Jump Off Ridge. You can see a little bit of the haze, which will be clearing out as the day progresses, because the wind will be blowing from the south to the north and blowing the smoke back up to Canada, where it originated from. Camera number 2. McNeil Canyon, good morning to Lake Chelan. That place will be hopping with the hot weather, near 100 today, tomorrow, and Sunday. Heat advisory goes into effect, by the way, noon on Saturday, because the overnight lows are going to be very mild as well. So Chelan will be popular indeed. Camera number 3. There we go. Cougar Ridge and the Otobastion Bridge and the brand new, everybody loves it roundabout. Haven't been on it yet. I will have to take it this weekend. So there you go, from the north end of the East Wenatchee side of the bench. And finally, of course, we have to see Billy Goat on top of, we can't actually see Billy Goat Mountain. It's not in our, we have to point the camera straight down. Good morning to Omak and Okanagan and Pateros and Brewster and Bridgeport. They have more smoke up there. They're closer to the fires, but they also have a better chance of some thunderstorms later on today. Yeah, it's a chance. I want to show you this slide from the National Weather Service. If you're heading up north, if you're heading up to the Omak, Okanagan area and into the Methow Valley and up near the Canadian border, you could see a pop-up thunderstorm this afternoon. They have a much better chance to the north of us than we have down here in the Wenatchee Valley. Hot today. The haze will be thinning out as the wind begins to change direction. We'll get up to mid-90s anyway for the afternoon high. Could we get to 100 tomorrow? We could. It's a possibility. Well, we were going to say 98, but triple digits for the first time this year is a possibility. And of course, the heat advisory goes into effect at noon tomorrow, and it's going to be hot on Sunday before we cool down on Monday. And that's it for us. Have yourself a great weekend, and we'll see you Monday. Bye-bye.
Greetings, North Central Washington, and welcome to another episode of Networked, your connection to the forefront of technology, innovation, and education in our region. While our regular beloved rockstar host Jenny is out of town this week, I'm stepping in to keep her seat warm. I'm David Mabey, the Marketing Director of the NCW Tech Alliance, and I'm thrilled to navigate today's exploration of our digital landscape. In this riveting installment, we're privileged to introduce a guest who is reinventing the agricultural sector with a cutting-edge technology. Today we welcome Steve Mantle, the mastermind behind Innovate Ag, a Walla Walla-based ag tech startup.